Welcome to New York. This is the first member weekend. It's a regional event. We're in the Northeast in Mexico, New York, and I'm so excited to be sharing with you all that's to come. We've got people on the way. This is the first evening that we're gonna be getting out here connecting with everybody, but it's gonna be a fantastic weekend and I cannot wait to share with you. Everybody's gonna be at different levels and we're just gonna work dogs, have a good time like we always do, and honestly just connect with the CGA community. So a lot more to come. We're getting set up right now. Everybody's kind of getting situated. We're getting the table set up, so we got a place to chill and eat, and then we're gonna kind of peek around at these beautiful training grounds. We're at Echowood here in Mexico, New York. Fantastic training grounds. We're gonna peek around, figure out exactly what the setup should be, and we're gonna get after it. So I cannot wait to share with you this weekend. So follow along, let's get after it.
Bark. I think the one thing that's great is the foundational obedience that you guys always do with programs. So I think, you know, that opportunity for everybody to get together, get the dogs comfortable in a new setting, and do a little bit of obedience, and then you know, here's a great spot if we want to throw some marks. Young dogs and old dogs can see it downhill.
Yeah, that's great.
Or a little bit of a walk up, and you know, you can get them wet at the end of the night, get them in, let them jump in the ponds here and everything. There are so many options. It's almost, you know, what do you do?
This is the best utilized 250 acres I've seen. This is fantastic. We're really happy to be up here. Had a great drive on our way up, and just honestly for us, this is pretty special. This being the very first regional member weekend. We're very honored that y'all are here at the very first one. It's very special. We have vision for what it will be in the future as it continues to grow, and it's y'all are in on the ground floor of this one, which is pretty awesome. Before we do go any further, I want to thank Chris and honor Chris and Sarah for taking care of this. They absolutely crushed it. We could not have done that without them, absolutely, because you know we're not familiar with this area, so we just came up and honestly haven't had to do a thing. Chris and Sarah put all the work into this, so we want to honor you guys and thank you for that. It means a lot, so thank you all. I think we got most everybody. We'll go ahead and get started. What I really like to do here is just give everybody the chance to start off doing obedience. Simple hill work, right? And this drill's fun. I call it the S drill. We'll kind of walk in between each dog's in like an S. So when someone else is walking around, you're trying to stay focused on your dog. The big thing is don't feel like you gotta say a lot of commands. Just more of look at your dog and hope that your dog looks at you and gives you eye contact. That's what we're really looking for, is eye contact here. If your dog gets a little rowdy or something, you know, like I said, you can kind of turn it around, pull it back a bit. And that's pretty much it. But if you got questions, I'll cut you through it. But we'll let Chris start us on the line down this way. And basically you'll get to walk the full length of the line, and each person will go, you know, one time, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the marking drill pretty quick. So. So imagine the lead. All right, we want to kind of use that. Try to keep less tension, like when you're walking through the heel. What I like to do is kind of what I call pops, pull and then release. So sometimes you have to push into the dog to release, just like that. Heel. You're trying to, like, honestly just use my fingers like that. Just gentle, good. Heel. And when the dog gets ahead like that, instead of trying to pull it back, what I like to do is when they get ahead, give a tug, 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 release, tug, release. Turn them in, and like don't feel like you have to keep walking. Like if this pup wants to get ahead, just do a little quick little 360 here. Good, 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 good. Heel. Just like that. And you can tap, get the pup's attention. Good. Just like that. How's that sound? Kind of like what we were talking about earlier, and pretty much every dog, at least at one point, if not multiple points throughout, walking through the other dogs, and I'm sure they train dogs in this field all the time, where, you know, slightly distracted. They were wanting to smell the ground. They were wanting to do those types of things. And so what we were talking about earlier is like, hey, we want to work on developing that connection. Like I said, it's not going to happen overnight, But as you're working through this drill, like what you want to aspire to or hopefully end up to is where your dog is not worried about what's on the ground or what's around like the other dogs and people. It's looking at you. And a big way to do that is, you know, correction timings. This is a good time to kind of talk about, okay, well, how do I correct this, right? Because a lot of times your dog wants to kind of pull through there. It wants to go over here. Now here's the problem, right? You don't want your dog to go over there, but it wants to go over there. You want your dog right here at your side. And so here's the deal. You know, it's gotta eventually comply to what you're doing. So you don't have to get like super aggressive with that correction. But what the tendency, and this is what I want you to think about, and this is why we love to start out this way, is so that it gets you in the mindset of thinking, okay, as we're training, how do we work through these certain things? The tendency is when your dog starts pulling you over here is to say heel, but that's actually not what you really wanna say. What you wanna say is when your dog starts to go over here, it's no, correct, you know, pop back, bring them back into you. And even if you have to like whip them around and then just stop and sit here and wait till your dog looks up at you. So, and every single member weekend, that's the tendency. Your first thing's thinking, okay, let me get through this line. I gotta get through the line, right? That's your mission, let me get through the line. And we will do this again. We will actually move on to the marking drill here in just a second. But when we do this again later in the week, your next mission is no longer, okay, I need to make it through the whole line. Your next mission is, okay, I just need to make it through the person right next to me with my dog focused on me. And what I want y'all to do, and this is difficult to do sometimes, is shift your focus. It may feel impossible, right? Especially if your dog's wanting to pull or do its thing. Or maybe it's not pulling. Maybe your dog's just kind of walking along like this. You know, like, okay, I can do this. That's not what we're looking for. What we're looking for is like a dog that's like, okay, I'm looking at you. What are we doing now? What are we doing now? And so when you start thinking that that's what I'm looking for, you start working on everything that it takes to get there. Honestly, it's just a matter of focus. And so again, this is exactly how it always goes when we first start it, right? You know, you got to get through that line. You got to get through that line. Maybe the dog's pulling, maybe the dog's sniffing the ground. That's a big thing, right? Especially with all the scent that's out here. But your biggest thing is slow down. When your dog's not complying, that's what I want you to thinking about, right? The task is, hey, I want my dog to heel and I want it to look at me. And if I stop, it stops. And again, it's easier said than done, especially in a very exciting situation like this, right? The dogs are probably wanting to smell, they're wanting to do its own thing. But the goal is, hey, I gotta get you on my page because I want you to do what I want you to do. All right, so hopefully everybody can hear me. If you cannot hear me, let me know. So we're gonna do a British style walk up now. And this is another fantastic, fun, and challenging drill, right? Because you have all these other dogs and your dog has to stay, you know, as focused as it can on you. But kind of the goal here is we're not gonna do it too complex. Here's the way it works. I'll say, you know, line forward or let's move forward, and then don't walk fast, right? Just kind of, I want us to really go slow, you know, just like this, super slow, focusing on your dog just like you were when you're heeling in between the line. We're not gonna go that far. We'll probably go a few steps. Then I'll say, bird up. And what that means is you stop and there's gonna be a delay and you'll have your dog sit. And then one of us, dad or I, will throw. We'll go, hey, hey, mark. And then you'll send your dog. Now the way we're gonna do it, we'll start on this end. You'll retrieve first. Then on the end, y'all will go second. After he retrieves, I'll say, line forward or let's move forward, and we'll all continue to move forward again and bird up. And that's the cue to stop. Then we'll mark, and then we'll kind of go from there. We won't get in a big of a rush. Then you'll be next, okay? You'll be third, you'll be fourth, Trent, and then so on. We're just gonna kind of alternate back and forth. We're gonna go one round where everybody gets to go, and then we'll kind of assess from there and see how everybody's feeling about it. And then from there, we can kind of change it. What we're gonna do is try to keep it simple. We're gonna throw the mark out in front of your dog at the time that you're going, right? To start with. Another thing too is, so when it's your turn to go, when you send your dog, you can send your dog from the stopping position where you're at, but as soon as you send your dog, my encouragement is, and y'all can't see it from my perspective right now, but I'm looking and there's a lot of people to look at. So your dog's gonna be looking and be a little unsure. So my recommendation is to step forward about 10 yards as your dog is running out. And then when it sees you, just kind of wave your hands, right? Try to get your dog's attention to focus on you. it up a bit. Now we're gonna do a double when we go, except you're gonna do a single retrieve, right? So kind of the same concept. You're gonna throw. When I say bird up, you'll say mark, you'll throw, there'll be a pause. We'll say mark, I will throw. And then there'll be 2 on the ground. And since you're going first, you can pick whichever one you feel best about. And then on this end, the main thing we're going here for is the mark, right? So there's 2 birds going out. We're simulating 2 birds being shot. We got plenty of dogs. So if you feel like your dog does not have the mark, we're gonna try to go in order, but that may not work out. And if it doesn't, don't send your dog, right? Let the next person next to you whose dog's it's locked in on the bumper will go. So, bird up! Bird up, mark! Now you wait. Yeah, just let that dog keep its eyes locked in. You're crushing it. Keep it up. All right, you're good. That's good. Worked out well on this one. Bird up! Bird behind the line! Bird behind the line! Mark, mark, mark! Everybody, the line will stay where it's at. When it's your turn, you'll have your dog sit, you'll leave it on the line, you'll come out here, and let's say B were my dog, I would call him to me, and what you're focusing on when you call that dog is trying to keep your dog looking at your eyes, right? Eye contact's crucial. Have your dog come back to you, good dog, pet it, then you can walk back in the line, and then let your dog watch the next dog do it and the next handler do it. Any questions? Chris will demo first, so you should be able to visually see what's going on. Yep, you'll heel back and sit back in the line. Good job. Fantastic. Actually, the dogs crushed it. This is, normally we have a ton of chaos from every single dog to begin with, and it just felt like every dog was really getting into the groove really quick. So good job, everybody, and thank you all. It's so fun, and tomorrow is gonna be even better. There's gonna be a lot of stuff covered tomorrow, so just get ready for it.